Are we live? Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Skill Up Show. Looks like I'm live already on YouTube. Welcome, welcome. How are you doing today? It's another beautiful Monday morning when we come live to talk about parenting and how you can up your game, up your parenting game, especially if you're a parent of a young person or parent of a preteen. We're trying to go live on Facebook also. Let's see if that helps us. If that happens, we've been having a lot of issues with Facebook in recent times. All right, today we're going to be talking about 5 things. Yeah, we're looking at 5 ways that you can ignite passion for success in your young children. Yes, how can you get your 6, your 7, your 8, your 12, your 14, your 16-year-old child to be passionate about success? Okay, parents would tell you every time how their child is not interested. I mean, I don't know what is wrong with him. He's not just interested in doing what's going on Facebook. I don't know what's wrong with him. He's not just interested in anything that is not play. All he wants to do is play, 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 and I don't understand it. Dear parents, there could be a reason, okay, why your child is not interested in anything other than play, and we want to look at some of the reasons why young children or children who ordinarily should love or ordinarily children who should ordinarily love to learn or enjoy learning, why they should not be passionate about a thing as interesting or as loving, okay, as reading. All right, just give me a minute. If let's see if we can get this Facebook thing sorted. It doesn't seem like it wants to be sorted today. For some time, we have had to either choose to go on YouTube or on Facebook. Let's see how this works. If it works, we'll be live. Do without Facebook. Okay, let's do this right now. Okay, all right, so let's look at it quickly. Let's look quickly at the things that could help our children or the things that will make our children. I have to give up on Facebook for now. We would look for how to sort this out later. So let's just focus on what we can focus on for. That's not nice. All right, so we would have to do this for now, and we will sort Facebook out later. All right, so what are the things that could make your children not be passionate? Young children, children as young as 6 and 8, 10, 12, 13. Why shouldn't they be passionate about learning when ordinarily children are wired to learn? All right, hear this. Children have the natural instinct to learn, and they have natural instinct to learn and to they relish the sense of satisfaction that comes from them winning or achieving. So your 6-year-old really wants to learn, especially if that learning is going to lead them to, creating, finding out something, okay, or enjoying something. And at that stage, when they're that young, right? When they're that young, really, what are the things apart from food, and apart from food and things like that, what are the things that really get children very excited or happy? It's play. It's play. So at this point, what children see, what children understand learning as is actually play. What your child understands that learning is play. What your child understands that create that is a passion is usually the things that they explore or the things that they play with. This is how passion is ignited in your children. So yes, the first things at winning that your child will have is from their environment. The first things that your child is going to get, all right, at winning is going to come from their environment. It's going to come from the things around them. So when children explore the things around them, when children figure out the things around them, what happens? They actually get excited about those things. Okay, they get excited, they get pumped up, and you realize that they become passionate about, exploring. They become passionate about knowing the things in their environment. They want to know more. So you can see, okay, hence that the environment is meant to be the first path for children to develop passion. Yes. So the child's environment is the natural thing that God has put in place to help our children develop passion. So their environment, the ability to explore their environment, the ability to find out how things work in their environment, the ability to create in that environment is how they get into the place of passion. So when your child finds something new, what does he want to do? The child wants to demystify it. So they are passionate about everything that will help them understand their environment. So a child, okay, is passionate about anything that will help him or her understand their environment. So remember, when they are young, they come with not a lot of knowledge. They come with no knowledge, okay, and they begin to learn from their environment. So because there is a natural instinct to live, there's a natural instinct to exist, there's a natural instinct to thrive, not just to exist. There is a natural instinct. The child has a natural instinct to actually thrive. All right. So what happens? They begin to interact with their environment. They interact with their environment, and as they interact with their environment, they get a sense of satisfaction, okay, through the interaction they have with their environment. Through that environment, they begin to conquer things. They begin to understand the things in the environment. So how do they understand these things in their environment? It's by interacting with them. So no wonder your 6-year-old, your 5-year-old finds your remote control and is trying to understand, how does this thing work? Okay, so when you see them, tinkering on things, when you see them, trying to, pull things apart and pull them back together, it's because they are trying to figure out how these things work. They're trying to figure out, they're trying to rule this thing. They're trying to conquer this thing. Okay. And when they rule, when they conquer, what happens? They become, and at the point where they're trying to conquer, rather, they become passionate about it. Yes, I want to conquer this thing. I want to figure out this thing. So the child will stay on to try and demystify that new thing that he has found in his environment. Okay? It is that ability or is that need to demystify that makes them passionate. Right? It is the need to demystify that passion, basically. So the child stays in there trying very hard because the child wants to demystify this new thing that he has found in his environment. And it is in trying to demystify this new thing that he's found in his environment that the child becomes passionate about it. So you see, right from when children are little, right from when children are born, they were naturally wired to be passionate about things. But what happens to these children at this stage? You realize that we as parents will come and we hinder that passion, okay, from increasing. We don't allow them to explore their passions. Okay, remember that the first place that they will explore that passion is in their environment. They need to understand their environment and they need to thrive in that environment. Of course, they know that they cannot be by themselves in their environment. They will have to interact. They will have to conquer the things in their environment. They will have to use the things in their environment in order for them to thrive in that environment. So yes, your child is trying to add new things to his knowledge. He's trying to explore new things. He's trying to figure out new things. He's trying to get new things. Okay, he's trying to understand new things. And the moment he does this, then it feels like he has conquered his environment, and so the child becomes passionate while he's trying to do all of this. But no, as I said, we usually will come in and we will hinder all of this. Okay, I really want to see if we can get Facebook right, because for a long time we've not been doing this. Just give me a few minutes. Just give me a minute, please. Still doesn't seem like it's working. All of a sudden, what has happened to me and understanding what happens here? Please. All right, sorry, it doesn't seem like it's going to work. But I can't understand why not. Sorry about this. Give us a second. Let's see. Okay. All right, sorry about that. We would have to do this session again. Yeah. All right. Sorry, I would just let that be because it's distracting us from this one. All right. So yeah. So by the time, so we are the ones that actually come in the way of their passion or in the way of them staying back to demystify the things in their environment. I said their passion, they're passionate about everything that can help them understand their environment. Their natural instinct is to demystify the things in their environment. And the moment they do this, or the moment they have not done this, they are passionate. They keep on at it, and this is how children would naturally build passion for the things that they're interested in, the things that they love, and the things that they enjoy. But no, we come in and we take a lot of these things away from them when they are little children or when they are young. Okay, so we are constantly telling them, you need to leave this and go to something else. You need to stop that. Oh, you really did this. They get spanked, they get punished, they get consequences. Why they're trying to explore and why they're trying to build passion. Okay, so we are the ones, because we are more concerned about the safety of these things. Okay, so we take these things away from them, and then of course we stop their passion, or that drive to demystify the things in their environment. Okay, at the end I'm going to share with you what you can do. I mean, because I'm not saying you should leave your remote control or leave the things that are important, that the things that are important are or are meant for other things, just so that your children can explore and just so that they can demystify them by destroying them. All right, so it's our place as parents to replace these things with other things, or replace these things, okay, replace them with things that are ideal for them to continue their exploration. All right, so this is why basically you see children who naturally should be passionate, children who should be naturally passionate, or children who should actually stay on task or stay on things until they become passionate about them, get disinterested, because of course we are the ones who point them away from these things that naturally should be their passion. All right, now science says that there are a couple of things, there are a number of things that children need in their life apart from food and a good sleep. Okay, so apart from food and good sleep, there are other things that children need in their life, and science says this. Okay, one of these things that children need in their life apart from food and good rest is love and safety. So your child needs to be loved and to feel safe in his environment. Now, if as a parent you can create that environment in your home where your child can feel loved, you can create that environment in your home where your child can feel safe. If you can put safety and you can put an environment where your child feels secure, you have a stable environment in your home, you have an environment where your child feels secure. Now, next thing you need to do is you need to allow that child freedom in that environment. If you allow the child freedom after you have considered safety and a secure attachment, okay, safety and a secure relationship with the child, where the child feels respected and the child feels loved. After that, the next thing you want to create in that environment is a freedom. So yes, as an intentional parent, you must create the right kind of environment that will allow your child thrive and will allow your child learn in your home. So you cannot have children and run the show in your home. You cannot have children and have a setting in your home that does not allow what's going on. Well, you cannot have children and have a setting in your home that does not allow your children to explore. Okay, just a all right, sorry about that. So you can't have a setting, you can't have charger. You can't have children and have a setting that does not intentionally intentionally puts the child the child's interest, as priority. So in your environment, you must set up your environment for learning. And this is why we have a program, we have a course. What we do in the academy is we help parents create or teach parents how to create environments in their home that invite their children to learn and allow their children to explore in their environment. So yes, science says that apart from food and good sleep, there are certain factors that are necessary if your child is going to have love and safety in your environment. You have created an environment where your child has got love, your child is secured, an environment where your child is safe. The next thing you want to do is you want to make sure that your child can be free in that environment to explore the environment and to interact with that environment. When you do this, your child will find something in your environment, will find a lot in your environment to be passionate about. This is how you sustain the passion that the child was built, to have right from when you were born. I said children come with a natural instinct to learn, to explore their environment, to demystify their environment, and to understand the environment that they live in. When they do this, then they develop passion. They find their passion in that environment, even right from when they are little children, as young as 5 and 6. Now, the reason why that passion is broken, or the reason why we dispassion our children, is because many times in trying to explore their environment, they tinker with the things that are important to us, okay? Or we are more concerned about the children being in places, we're more concerned about everything around them being dangerous. But hey, as parents, we need to understand that we will have to teach our children how to thrive right in the environment where they live in. Okay, we will have to teach them how to do dangerous things in safe ways. We will have to trick the environment to help them have the same experience that they should have with some of these things that are valuable to the family. Okay, we'll have to create substitutes, okay, substitute resources and tools in the environment that will still allow our children have the same experience that they should or could have had with these things that we need to take away. So you see all that stop it and shouting and crazy, all that craziness, shouting, stop it, go away from there. No, these are the things that are dispassionate, making your children dispassionate about the things in their environment. When you have done a lot of that, stop it, leave it alone, you can't touch it, you kill their curiosity, you kill their ability to explore. Then they get to the point they become aloof or they become docile, okay, because a lot of times you want to point them only to the things that you want them to do, and most of the times these things are not really interesting, or these things do not spark their curiosity. These things do not allow them to develop their brains. These things do not serve the child. Usually a lot of these things will serve we as parents and not your children. All right, so number one, I said when your child has love and your child has a safe environment, the next thing you want to do as a parent is allow them explore in that environment, give them the freedom to explore in that environment. As they do this, they will get passionate about the things around them. They will find things in that environment that they are passionate about. All right. When they're passionate about things at 6, I promise you, as they grow older, being passionate or committing to the things around them, okay, will not be difficult. So yes, you will grow and you will have your preteen. Your preteen will grow and still find things around him, okay, that he is passionate about. The reason they don't seem to be passionate about anything around them is because the time where this skill should come naturally, the times where they were really passionate about the things around them, you never allowed them to explore, you never allowed them to feed their curiosity. So we need to understand this. Number 2 thing, okay, there are lots of them. I'm just going to give you 3 and then move on to what we can do to help our children gain passion again, or begin to, help them build the instinct for passion again. All right, so number 2 is sensory experiences. All right. So children learn a lot from the things around them through their senses. All right. So when they're young, when they are between 0 and 6, what we are supposed to create in their environment is actually sensory experiences where our children get to learn through touching, through, sight, taste, touch, feel, and all of that, using all of their senses. So our children are supposed to learn in their environment using all of their senses. Okay. So children will engage with their environment, and then while they are engaging with their environment, they become passionate. I've said that before. They become passionate about the things in their environment. Okay. Now, this is what we were supposed to help them do from the beginning. Okay. Sensory experiences will actually stimulate their nerve cells. Okay. It's through this stimulation that neural connections are made, and these connections are connections that will serve the children for the rest of their lives. But if you stop and you hinder your child from exploring, having those sensory explorations or experiences in their environment through the many, carry him, all of that. So a lot of us, while the children are growing between 0 and 6, the time where our children should be exploring 98% of the time. Yes, you heard me. What do? We bunch them in small spaces, right? We hinder them in small spaces. So you go off to work and then you leave the child with your nanny. The nanny that will have to feed the child, make the child go to sleep, feed the child again, back the child behind. The nanny that her only job is to ensure that your child is safe. So these are valuable years in the life of the child between when the child is 0 and 6. During these valuable years where your child is supposed to be building sensory experiences in their environment so that there will be the stimulation of their brain cells that is natural, okay, that will fire up. Now, these experiences will actually fire up those cells, forcing them to build connections. And these are the connections that will lead to them exploring. These are the connections that will lead to them being passionate, about the things in their environment. But no, these brain connections are not made. And hey, any brain cell that is not activated is docile. So the less brain connections your children are having, the more docile the child is. Okay, so the child is just there laid back, nothing is happening, no brain cells. As these cells are not connecting, as these cells are not being charged, what happens? The cells will die. All right, so imagine a child that has parents who understand this. Okay, a child that has parents who understand this, a parent that understands that, these children need to build sensory experiences, and these sensory experiences are things, these are experiences that the children should have when they are between 0 and 6 years old. And then the parents makes intentional efforts to make sure that this child has sensory experiences every day for a number of hours. So let's say you have time in the morning, time in the afternoon, and time in the evening where you intentionally open up your child or introduce your child to spaces where introduce them to spaces, resources, okay, and experiences where your child can actually, use their senses to explore their environment. Imagine the brain connection that is happening for child A, whose parents understands this and is creating this experience, compared to child B, whose parents do not even know that this is important. So the child is woken up in the morning, given a bath, and then fed, and then the nanny begins to should and practically hold their life so that the nanny does not get into trouble. Okay, some of us will take them by the time they are a little over 1 or less than 1, even we take them to some centers, crashes and the rest, where the children will go in and they are just confined to a space. They're confined to a space watching TV, okay, watching TV all the time. So if they're not eating, they are sleeping. If they are not sleeping, they're watching TV with a small space only available for them, only a small space available for them, to move. And there is no intentional effort made at creating experiences in that environment. This reminds me of when our son was in was in preparatory school. Okay, so when he was in early years, I remember then I used to have a friend that had a colleague who had her child in my son's school. So at some point, I stopped seeing the colleague, and I was asking my friend, "Oh, I don't see your colleague anymore. What happened?" And then she actually said to me, "Oh, my colleague pulled her children from the school, pulled the kids from the school." And I'm like, "Why?" And she's like, "Oh, no. That she said that all the children do in that school is play." Right? The colleague was like, she's tired. All that they do, if it's not fruit, if it's not fruit that they are dealing with, it is sand they are playing with. If it's not sand, it is it is what do you call it? It is slime. If it's not slime, they're digging everything they do, they're just playing. So the colleague actually took her kids in early years away from a school that knew what the child needed at that point in their lives. So dear parents, when you are looking for schools or you are looking for centers for your children, when your children are between 0 and 6, most of what they need is what can stimulate them. All right, things that can stimulate things in their environment that can stimulate their brain through their sensory interactions with those things. This is how brain development is achieved. This is how these cells are charged to form connection. It is when these connections are made that your children will begin to get higher knowledge. The children are prepared for higher intellectual abilities. Your children intellectual abilities are actually improved through this brain development that comes through sensory experiences. And yes, it is a child that is beginning to learn all of these things that wants to learn more. It is a child that has the right brain connection that wants to do things of higher knowledge. It is that child that is stimulated enough to try problems that are bigger than the one that a child that is not stimulated. So problem solving comes from how much how much stimulation that your child has been able to have, basically. So yes, so these are some of the things that our children need, and these are the things that in many cases are not present. So when these things are not present, or when these things have been destroyed when your children are young, or when children are young, what happens is the child gets to that point where the child is not that active. So children who are not allowed to explore, children who are not allowed to have sensory experiences in their environment, children who are not allowed to feel safe in their environment, and so feed their curiosity, these children usually will not actively become passionate about the things around them. And so early in life, your child is already laid back. Early in life, your child is already not interested in a lot because you stifled the child for whatever reason. Ignorance most times. All right? Ignorance most times. All right. So children develop So we said it. So I said there are many of them, but I'm just going to give you a few of them so that we can move on to how we can change this, or what we can do right now to begin to change some of these things. All right. Remember, the Skill Up Show is a show that we have here every Monday at 1 p.m. We come here to talk about skills that we can apply in our parenting. You apply these skills in your parenting and you can run with it, immediately. But remember that most of these things that we give you here are simple tips, all right, that you can apply in your parenting. But it's what you need is much more than just the tips. Okay, when you apply the tips, you begin to see a difference. You begin to see changes. You begin to see that what we are saying is actually true. And the moment you see this, I need you to seek for more help, because you want to expand whatever it is that you know. All right, you want to expand whatever it is that you know to help your children maximize their ability, or maximize their capacity, or their potential, basically. All right, and this is what we do in the academy. We create solutions, we create programs, we create courses that will take you further, okay? Courses that will hold your hands through this process. One of them is the mastermind circle. In the mastermind circle, this is what we do. In the mastermind circle, we have 6-year-olds, okay, kids between 6 and 14. They come in and we use a lot of these strategies that we're talking about. We use a lot of the strategies that we're talking about, okay? This is what our curriculum is made of. We use the strategies to help our children go through their process so that they can build all of the things that we are talking about. All right. So we said the brain is practically developed through the child's exploration and manipulation of the things in their environment. All right. So physical activities would actually help the cells to develop, will actually help the cells to make connections, neural connections in our brain. And then, of course, it produces this connection, especially in the hippocampus, right? In the hippocampus of the child's brain, that part of the brain that is deeply connected to your child's learning and your child's memory. So when these connections are made and this development is made in this part of the brain, you realize that your child begins to problem solve, all right, because your child is operating as a high functioning skill. Okay, this is how you help your child to develop high functioning skill through these explorations with their environment. So you see why it's important that when your children are young, 3, 4, 5, even your 6-year-olds, they are making all of these connections. They are exploring their environment. They are in a safe environment. They feel loved and then they feel free in that environment. All right. So I have told you how naturally your children will form passion, all right, through interaction with their environment. How naturally your child learns to solve problems because your child has made neural connections that will help them enhance experiences, okay, and harness experiences. Your child has learned through practice to be expert, all right, in certain skills through practice as a result of these neural connections. When this continues, you find out that your child is able to solve small problems and your child is able to move to bigger problems. It is in trying to demystify these things in their environment that your child becomes passionate about the things in their environment that they are trying to demystify. So it is that passion that drives the child to want to do more and more and more. So yes, as it is, the child should naturally be passionate if their environment is right and if the handlers understand how to spark their curiosity or how to prepare the right environment for the child to learn. This is why we're inviting you to join our workshop. So we have a workshop that's coming up at the end of September. Okay, that workshop we say is equipping you to help your child learn. Okay, equipping you to help your child excel in the classroom and beyond the classroom. In the workshop, we'll be equipping you on how you can create and prepare your environment, to prepare the right kind of environment, the right kind of stimulation, the right kind of curiosity, how to prepare all of these and how to go about all of this in your environment so that your child is not becoming docile, but rather your environment is inviting your child to grow. Your environment is inviting your child to grow naturally the way that your child was created to grow, so that your child is passionate at that level. All right, so now we have realized that most of the times we are the one that dispassionate, make our children dispassionate. Okay, a lot of the times we're the ones that killed their natural instincts and then got them to the point where they are not passionate about the things around them anymore. Most of the times we're the ones that stop them from exploring to the point that they are not even interested in demystifying the things in their environment anymore. So how do we now change this? What do we do to change this? Okay, I'm going to give you 5. I always like to give 5 in my the skill up show. All right, so we're here for just about 10 minutes again, and we will go. 45 minutes is what we're doing today. All right, so number 1 is you want to bring their focus, right? You want to bring their focus back, okay, through mentally tasking activities. All right, so remember, the child already has lost focus, or the child already doesn't have, you have not allowed the child through all that stop it, taking things away. You have already hindered their ability to stay focused. Because really, if you allow children explore in their environment, think about it. Think about that time that your child is actually, going about, and then he sees a funny looking kind of bottle. How the child sits down there, stays focused on that particular item, tries to, pull it apart, tries to see, raises it, throws it. That's the child trying to explore and understand that thing in their environment. Remember, for them to thrive in their environment, they have to demystify the things in that environment. And this is how they thrive, isn't it? Now, while the child is trying to do all of that, you hinder them, you stop them, and so you pull their attention from that thing to another thing. So you are contributing to them having those short attention spans that you are usually complaining about. Because if you allow the child stay on these things, what will happen? The child stays there. The child is trying to explore. The child is trying to figure it out. The child is there for a long time. And this is how their attention span is being increased, by them staying focused on a thing for long. All right? Now, your child finds the remote control and he is wondering. The 7-year-old has the remote control and he's wondering, what is this thing? He's trying to figure it out. How does it even work? It's because he's curious. That's why he wants to know. How come I hold something here and it can control that big screen in front of me? What is it? Most times these are the questions that are going on at the back of the mind of your child when they try to pull things apart, put things together, take things out and replace them. It's because they're trying to answer the many questions that they are asking themselves. Now, isn't this what science is about? That's what science is about. So we are the ones that destroy our children's scientific instincts. Yes, we destroy their scientific instincts with all the take it away, all of that. Now, we're not saying allow your children destroy everything at home. So when you see that your child is focused on things like this, you see that your child is interested in coupling and uncoupling things and all of that, what do? Panteka should be your friend. Do you know where Panteka is? That place where I know we have one. You have them all around. Okay, in the south is even more, right? Those places where people sell scraps, right? Where you're moving house and you have all of those things you don't want to move to your new house, and you go get those guys who come and pay little for them and take them. All right, so they go somewhere to sell these things. They actually go somewhere to sell these things after they buy them from you. So you want to look for those places. I used to do that a lot when our son was little. Our son he loved cars and he always wanted to build cars, and all of that. So I would go to the craft shop and I would buy them big tires. All right. Now he wants to screw, he wants to use spanners. So rather than use his father's set of spanners, and screws and all of that, I would go to Panteka and I would pick, I'll pick a few there for him. I'll pick those screws, like big screws, just him fastening and pulling them, apart. Sometimes he just fastens them, not because he's even creating anything special with them. He just fastens them together. That whole instinct, that whole thing that comes, satisfaction that comes with winning, satisfaction that comes with seeing yourself as someone who has created something. It will amaze you, but this is how children become passionate, and this is how children become confident. They become confident from actually winning. Okay, it's when a child feels that he has demystified a thing. When he demystifies a thing, he gets a sense of satisfaction. It is that sense of satisfaction that motivates him to do something or to find something else or to continue exploring. This is how passion is built. This is how passion is created in a child. By the child exploring, the child winning, and the child, of course, getting the motivation to want to discover new things and discover more. Go and read up about most inventors. This is how they became inventors. Most of them had parents who had their garages. Back in the day, parents worked in the garage of their homes. Most parents who had skills. Most parents who had skills, like your parents is a carpenter, your parents is a mechanic, your parents is a scientist. Most times it was in the garage in their homes. Okay, in the West, that was where they had their workshop. So it was only easy, or it was only natural that the children would come out or would come downstairs or would come, to the basement, right, to see what their parents did, or to just watch what their parents did, or to move around freely and tinker around with things. And this is how many inventors found their passion. This is how they did, right? Find their passion. Most of these inventors actually had their labs starting first in their homes and all. All right, I'm so sorry about that. Okay, so is this kind of empowering? Sorry about that network. Okay, so these are the kind of experiences we're supposed to sustain in our homes. These are the kind of experiences we're supposed to create in our home. And this is how you're going to boost your child's curiosity and all of that in your home. All right, so you can do this. The educational activities you can use to do this is you can get your children building blocks, Lego blocks, puzzles, things like that. Mentally, they're mentally tasking activities, and you can use that to help your children begin to build focus again. Remember that, we hindered that, first of all, from it coming naturally. So if you've hindered that naturally, or you can see that your child is continuously dispassionate about anything around them. So the first thing you want to do is you want to introduce things in their environment, introduce resources and activities in your environment that will cause your child to problem solve, all right? That will task their brain to problem solve, so that you can bring their focus, back, basically. All right. Now, number two, you want to do is you want to help your children develop organization skills. All right. You want to help them develop organization skills. And this is best done through introducing habits. Okay. Introduce habits in your home that will help your children become organized naturally. So organization is not what you call your children. I want to talk to you about organization today. Now, you need to do this, create a system in your home that's rides on your children being organized. So for instance, as you come in from school, this is what is expected. So your children come in from school and they know the first thing to do is to empty the car. The first thing to do is to take out everything that you brought into the car out of the car. So gradually, for instance, your 7-year-old probably come in, leave his socks in the car at some point, take only his shoes. It could be anything that they keep leaving up and down. If you let this pass, if you let this pass, you do not nip it in the bud, or you do not get the child to learn and to continue to practice this. What you're doing is you're not going to allow that child learn to be organized. So you're going to teach the child organization by creating a system in your home where the child knows what to do first, second, third, like that. And don't wait until your children are old to do this. So now we're talking about for your children and your preteens. So you have your 6, your 7, your 8-year-old. It's not too late. Okay, it's not too late to do this. For your 6, your 7, your 8, your 9-year-old, allow them to learn organization skills. And this is done through the processes that you have in your home, and insisting on these processes and insisting on your children going through this process over and over again. I'm doing a lot of this with my 8-year-old today. Okay, my 8-year-old tends to, drop things like that. So as you're driving home from school, I am already sending the prompt. All right, we're almost home. What are you going to do right now? What do you have to do? And then the next thing she will say to you, I'm going to put my things together. All right. At first, she will not know that you say to her or say to him, now we're almost home and I will need you to start putting your things together. Have a spot on your way home. Have a particular spot on your way home where as soon as you get to that spot, you do the reminder. See, parenting has to be intentional. You must deal with yourself first as a parent. You must fix yourself first. You must get yourself to the point where you are organized, first. At least organized in your mind first before you can raise children who are organized. So you have to put yourself that way. If it's too hard, set an alarm. Okay, the time you come from school, come back, back from school, whatever it is. I'm just using this because I like to use my own practical experiences. I pick the children from school at the end of the school day. Okay, so on our way, I get to the bridge, I get to the roundabout before I take 1 and 2 more stretches, 3 stretches before I get to my home. So when we get to that roundabout, I say to her, all right, honey, we will be home in the next 5-6 minutes. I think it's time to put your things together. So you see her beginning to, if her shoes were off, you see her trying to wear them back and all of that. What are you doing? You're trying to help this child develop organization skills. Remember, these skills should come naturally between 0 and 6 if you paid attention and you stimulated the child at that time. But hey, our young children and our toddlers could have missed that window period. And so what are we doing right now to get them to become passionate about the things around them? Is that number 2, okay? Number 1 is that we get them to focus on things that are mentally tasking activities. Number 2 is that we get them to be organized. Okay, get them to be organized. And you can do this organization thing by, going through a system that reminds them, a system that prompts them, or a system that makes them do this through a process every time. Okay, and one of it is the reminder that comes from you first. So you remind the child about that. Okay, and so by the time you get home, as you get closer, you say, okay, we're almost home. I hope you have everything together. Okay, do this, consistently until the child, you see that the child, skip it once or twice. Okay, skip it one day and see if the child came around to it without you. You have to keep doing and testing and doing and testing and doing and testing that way. Okay, so get your child that way. Now, when you get your child to be organized like this, you're already introducing the child to this habit. Okay, you're already introducing the child to the habit of being able to organize themselves. You are already teaching your child discipline. People who will be passionate about anything will be people who are disciplined. I keep saying to parents all the time, you say these things that we're looking for, the A pluses, the doing well in school, all these things that we hang on to a lot as parents, they are not the real deal. The problem we have with the challenges that our children go through, it's not because somewhere along the line they lost it, or it's not because you are not trying right now. It's because you did not build these skills gradually at the point where it was important. It's because you are not teaching these things in the right way. It's because you do not know that a little effort every day is better than your brigadier approach to anything. It's because you are waiting for your child to come and go to boarding school and learn to be organized. And you miss the fact that no, the child was supposed to learn to be organized over a stretch of 5, 6, 10 years, from the little things that you do every day, right from when they were younger, right from when they were 1 and 2 and 3 and all of that. You've missed that point till now they are 6 and they are 7. It's okay. Your children are 8, 9, 10, 12. You can still start today and begin to build these things gradually for the period that you have them with you. Everything that is learned and internalized takes time. It takes practice. It takes repetition. Very, very key. It takes repetition, it takes time, it takes practice. So do not think that your child will just show up somewhere, and because the child is, pushed and forced and dragged to do things, the child now knows it, or the child has now internalized it. A lot of times, children do not internalize the things that they are taught to do under duress, or the things that they are forced to do under duress. These things, the children will not learn it in a way that these things will serve them to navigate the world later. So you can force your child to do something for a whole 5-6 years, and 2 years after, or 2 months after, there isn't that force, that compulsion that makes the child do this thing. The moment you take away that compulsion, I'm telling you, the child is just going to go back and not to do with them at all. Why? Because your child did not learn that thing through a process. Your child did not internalize that thing through a process. Your child was forced into doing those things. And the moment that force is taken away, you realize there's a total relapse, and the child will not do it again because it is not internalized, or it wasn't internalized. So yes, you want to teach the organization skill that will help your child, okay, build self-control and discipline. Then it has to be from today. Okay, so you want to raise children who will be self-disciplined. It starts, first of all, through allowing the children learn to be organized. So start that way. Your child comes, throw their things everywhere, and then they walk away. And then you call Margaret, look at this silly boy. He has thrown everything. Margaret, let me pick them, Jerry. So she will keep picking them, and your child is losing the opportunity to learn how to be organized. So you stay in there. That has become a goal. You stay in there every day. Stay in there until you're able to use prompts, use teaching, use reminders, use fun, use stories, use everything to get to the child to the point where your child internalizes these things. Very, very, very key. All right. Number 3 is you want to introduce your child to standards in your home that everybody adheres to. This is how to help your children become passionate. I said before that for people who are passionate, passion comes with discipline. Okay, it's a discipline to stay on a thing that makes you become passionate about that thing, because passion requires that you stay on that thing, you love that thing, and then you have the ability to stay on that thing. So you can love a thing, and because you are totally indisciplined, you are not able to move that love to a passion. Do you understand? So I can say I love to dance. I love to dance, and and all of that, but I am not practicing. So I don't dance beyond a particular level because I have not put myself in a place where I'm learning, how to dance. And then apart from learning how to dance, I'm practicing how to dance consistently. It is with practicing how to do these things that I become so good at it. When I am so good at it, or at something, I get a sense of satisfaction from that thing. When you are so good at that thing, you become self-sufficient in that area. When you are, I'm telling you, it will spark motivation. Motivation comes from a sense of satisfaction. So you become motivated to do that thing more. Now there is a sense of satisfaction, there is motivation, there is winning. As you win in that area, as you conquer in that area, what happens? You become a champion, and then your confidence is boosted. So you see, as confidence is boosted, there is motivation. You are a winner in that area. You become naturally passionate about that thing. Now, this is why your children are not passionate about anything, be it their education, be it God, be it whatever it is that you are hoping that your children, those things that disturb you, you already have your 13-year-old, your 14-year-old, they don't want to do anything. If it's not play and it's not something that feeds the mouth and adrenaline, if it's not something that is pumping adrenaline, okay, then the child is not interested. A child this way, where the child builds, over time, passion, through all of these things that I'm talking about. All right. So number 4, what will number 4 be? Allow your children to set goals. Yes. So your children should set goals. Your children should thrive to achieve their goals. This is what we do with the children in the mastermind circle. Okay, so we do all of this with them in the mastermind circle. We make them set goals. So yes, your 6-year-old is not too young to set goals. Your 7-year-old is not too young to set goals. So the 6-year-old, the 7-year-old, the 8-year-old, they are setting goals. Now we do it in a way that Remember, we said the environment has to be loving, the child must feel safe and all of that. So in the circle, we love up the children, we make them feel comfortable with us, we make them feel safe. And it's online, okay? We meet them, right? We meet them. We have our system allows us to meet them regularly and all of that and develop this connection with them. Now, because we have this with them, what happens? The children begin to do what? The children begin to stay there, and they begin to understand why they should set these goals and why these goals are important. So we make them understand why, first of all, their goals are so important because it's about them and they are the first beneficiary of their lives. So when your 7-year-old knows that I am the first beneficiary of my life, in truth, not just when you are angry and you begin to spill words around and tell them, if you like, don't do. I have already given my life. You too, you will live your life. Tomorrow, you carry their matter on your head from morning till night. Then next tomorrow, because you need to vent, so they know that, okay, it's not serious, Jerry. She's just angry today. That's why she's saying these things. But if these are the things that you are building the child's mindset and allowing the child to understand, then the child really begins to take these things seriously. And this is what we do with them in the mastermind circle. And so after setting the goals, we help them begin to achieve those goals. They achieve those goals, they become winners, they become champions through achieving the goal and all of that. They're motivated to do more. All the things that I was talking about begins to happen through this. And then through accountability, they understand why they must stay on that goal because we offer them accountability and all of that. So that's number 4. The last one I'm going to talk about is now you will have your children allow your children, when you have done all of these things that we've talked about, now allow your children to pick the things that they are passionate about, or point your children nicely, subtly, without force. Okay, if you are connected and you're involved in their lives, then it's very easy for you to point them, or it's very easy for you to suggest to them the things that you think that they could do well, or the things that you think they should put more effort in, because you have their ears and you have their hearts and you can influence them. Some of us will say, I'm so close to my children. My children, we have love, we're connected. But you cannot even influence a single choice that your child makes. It means that your child doesn't trust you enough. Okay, so your child, your preteens, your preteens should be at the space where, now, if you are a very empathetic parent, you're empathetic, you're very, objective. You're empathetic. You're objective. You don't have ulterior motives. The child's, the child's success, or the child's, you have the child's, what's the word? Anyway, it's more of the child than it is about you, right? It's about the child, not about you. The child's interest, about how this feeds the child, basically, is what you're focused on. If this is the case, you will realize that a lot of times the choices that you point to the child to, or the things that you suggest to the child, will be things, you'll be very objective with the things that you suggest to the child. You're not just going to come from some of those parents who they just want the child to do a particular thing because of the way it will make them look. Oh, everybody will know that I'm a cool parent. Everybody will know I'm a mad dog. If the motives are right? If the motives are right, you will realize that you will point your children to the things that will feed them more than feeds you. Okay, and if your relationship and your connection is right, you will realize that you have built trust over the years, to the point that your child will allow you to influence them easily. Yes, they will not follow you and say yes to you all the time, but when it really matters and you're able to sit down and reason things out with them, you realize it's actually easy for you to make them say, oh, okay, Mom, I really would have gone with this, but I trust you. This is the relationship I have with my 13-year-old. It's a lot of, okay, but now that you have said it, the way you're saying it, I'm beginning to see the sense. This is how many times, and this is because I do not put my interest, that's what I was trying to say. I do not put my interest ahead of his, especially when it has to do with his life. I do not put what I want, okay, because of my own personal or my own selfish, reasons. I don't put that ahead. I always put, as far as it has to do with his life, I always put, his success, I put his, ability to thrive ahead of mine. So When he wants to make certain choices and I'm thinking, I am able to say, you know something, I need you to look at these other things for this reason, for this reason, for this reason. Look at it and let me see. I mean, let's have a conversation about it in 2 days and all of that. So we're able to do that with him, and many times, 98% of the times, okay, for the things that are important, we are always on the same page. When these things as silly as whether you eat pizza or you eat meat pie, things as simple as whether it's rice or spaghetti, I mean, these things allow you have make all the choice 100%. Now for children, they do not separate these things. They are not separating the fact that, oh, this was just pizza talk or this was career talk. What the child sees is sometimes she actually trusts me and she allows me have my way. So that's why, as an intentional parent, you need to pay attention to the times that you need to say no and the times that you need to say, you know something, have your way. Think about it. So there has to be a balance between the, oh, I trust you, oh, go ahead, awesome, and the, okay, let's look at it together again. So when it comes to small silly choices that will not scratch anybody, that will not change anything seriously, give it to them 100% and let them know that you trust them. Yeah, I would have argued, but no, I trust you. Meanwhile, the child doesn't know that deep down is because this one is small decision. Yeah, I trust you. The child just sees that sometimes she trusts me. And this is important in your relationship. It's important in your relationship that your child knows that you trust their choices. Okay. Now, when the big things come, the real big one, they can't separate it. The child cannot separate the fact that he wanted a red hoodie and then you wanted a black one and then you let him, from the fact that, oh, he wanted to pick this course and you're thinking, oh, look at this one, I think your strength is more. They didn't separate it. They just know that, oh, this person always wants my best interest, and yeah, let me look at where she is coming from or where they are coming from as their parents now, where they're coming from. So you need to, do all of this. So when you do this, okay, when you do this as a parent, you allow them go with the things that they are passionate about. You allow them make choices, okay, over and over again, okay, like that, come in to tweak the ones that you think they should look at or see differently and all of that. Then you support whatever it is that they are pursuing passionately. So for instance, I know a lot of you, your concern is he's not passionate about his education. He's not passionate about his education. What do? What you do is you create a system, whatever that system is. If it's a system that you can create in your home by yourself and you can sustain it, then fine. If it is one that you need support, okay, for instance, support like a place like the mastermind circle, because in the mastermind circle, we touch on every aspect, even their academics. We have children who have come into the circle and they were struggling, and by the time they went through the circle, they moved from that point to being confident learners. Okay, so you can have a system like this, and what does that system do? The system creates a process where the child begins to study consistently. A system creates a system, the program creates a system where we can work on the child's mindset. The child needs to understand the why. The child needs to understand the why. He understands his role in his own life. So when the child understands his role in his own life, understands the why behind what he's doing, understands what he has to do to maximize his role in his own life, understands the benefit of what he is doing, and understands the person that benefits the most, or his position as the one who benefits the most in what it is that we're doing with him. Most times, by the time we're done with this, we have been able to, help them develop the right mindset. Okay, the moment they have the right mindset, what do? We put in, strategy to make them hardworking. Okay, how do you do this? You introduce them to consistency. So consistency is very important, and we don't force this consistency. We allow them. How long do you think you can? Sometimes some of them start with just 20 minutes, and then we hold you accountable. Those 20 minutes, we hold you accountable, by those 20 minutes. Imagine that a child puts in 20 minutes every day. What does it mean? Your 8-year-old, your 7-year-old puts in 20 minutes every day. It means that at the end of the week, your child would have put in what? 20, 40, your child would have put in 140 minutes. Okay? That is for starters. Sometimes we get 30 minutes. What does that mean? 30, 1 hour. What am I saying? 100 and anyway, 30, 1 hour in 2 days, right? 2 hours in 4 days, 3 hours in 6 days. Your child would have put in 3.5 hours studying. I tell you, if you can get your 8-year-old, I'm not saying doing assignments, if you can get your 8-year-old to study for how many 3.5 hours in a week, to study, expand their knowledge, explore, research. If you can get your 8-year-old to just stay and look at what he's been taught, get more knowledge, teach them all the things that we teach them to do in the mastermind. I promise you, and they do this every day. I promise you, we will move that child for you from a C student to an AB student, or even a straight A student. So I say over and over again, see, the things that we're chasing, they're not the real thing. The real thing are the small things that we need to put together gradually for your children to build the passion or develop the passion that they need to excel or to succeed. Thank you very much, everyone. I hope you got value from the session. You should have got value from the session. Okay, I like it when you join me for these sessions. All right, so if you come, don't just be in the background, say something in the comments so that we know that you have joined us. We teach parents about this. We work with parents, right, to create these systems in their home. And one of the ways that we do this is through some of our courses. All right, so we have one that is coming up at the end of this month. It is scrolling right on the screen. You can take a screenshot. It is a very affordable course. All right, so it's a very affordable course. All you need to do is pay 399,000 from now to the end of the week, and you can join in that workshop. It's a workshop. Okay, we are going to have 2 experts that will be there demystifying all of this for you and teaching you how to empower your children and create the environment for your children to thrive in school and beyond school. Okay, we want to empower you so that you can support your child like a guru. Okay, so you can, take a screenshot or check in the comments, and yes, there's if you check in the comments right now, you will see the details that you need, and you can enroll for that course. Let us help you. Okay, and while we're in that course, we will have conversations that can help you take care of your peculiar needs. Will be there to help you while on that course. So in the 2 days or 3 days that we're going to be in it, we'll be there to answer all your questions, to give you all the practical ways that you can do this. All right, so why don't you go ahead and register for this, and let's have an amazing time. Thank you very much. If you are on this call, do let us know if you got value. Have a fantastic rest of today. Bye. Let me see. I'm looking at the comments to see if I have any questions. Let's see. Okay, I can see questions. I can see PTM. Well done. Thank you very much. Thank you, Beatrix. Thank you so much. All right. Have a lovely rest of the day. Bye.